Let's talk about sequencing the swing. I've already done a video for the elite players, but I wanted to do a second video to break it down and make it really simple. Remember, if you're not learning, then I'm not teaching correctly. So I want to break things down so they're really easy for you to understand. Simple works best, I know that, and you should too. Number one, let's get into a good setup position. By now you should have watched the video that I've done on the posture, so we know that our lines are going to be very good at address. Good players really nail this address position. They work very hard, they take a lot of time, because they know if they get into the right position here, they've got a good chance of that first move being good. If I stand like this, well then you know I don't look like a good player. So it's important that we get that first step correct. Then from there, we want to get the ball and the club aimed in the right direction. So what that means is that if our flag's out in front of us, it's no good aiming to the left and then wondering why the ball didn't go at the flag. That's the reason that I practice using these clubs or alignment sticks on the floor. Make sure you're aligned correctly when you practice. It's something that I see so many players at the driving range hitting the ball over the place and not concentrating on where they're aiming. Get specific, get disciplined in the way you practice. So once we've got those two things set up, then we're going to start to make a backswing. Now, we should have our hands slightly in front of the ball. From there, we're just going to start to turn the upper half of the body against the legs. I want to try and keep as much resistance in the lower half of the body against the upper half, because that's the way we coil. So keep these legs very quiet as we turn them back. So as much as you can, keep this left shoulder turning all the time on the backswing. If possible, we don't want it ever to stop turning. Once this stops turning, your hands and arms will start to independently take over. So the more you can keep this left shoulder turning, the better that's going to be. Now once we get to this top of the backswing position, now we want the arms to start to fall. The way that we should start to get the feeling is the hips are going to move to the left hand side, but sometimes that sort of information can be quite difficult for you to process in your head. But let's make it really simple. If I pick up a golf ball here and I throw it down the range, which looks more natural, this or this? Now you can see what I was able to do on the second one was just release my hips. So having a visual thought in your head, like we're just going to take the club to the top of the swing and then throw a golf ball, is really good, because you can see how my hips start to release through the ball. Also, if we thought about a boxer doesn't stand there and punch someone punching like this with all their weight on their back foot. Yet I see so many players swing down and all their weight's on their right hand side. Think what a boxer does, he punches that way. Look at my right side there, that way, it clears through the ball. I'm not telling you how to do that, I'm not telling myself how to do that. You can visually see this, there. I want your visual education to be more than trying to process everything in your head. Watch again, there. The final image I want to give you is if we walk down to a pond and we tried to skim a stone. Again, we wouldn't skim a stone by doing that. We'd skim a stone by releasing the hips. And that's what we want in the golf swing. So once we get to the top of the swing, we're going to allow those arms to fall and get that release of the hips. Think of that motion again. We're just going to let that happen. I'm going to skim that stone. Watch how natural that happens when I take the club back to the top, and now I'm just going to skim that stone. Going to skim that stone. The arms start to drop out of the sky back into a really good plane. It's a real simple thing for you to start to understand that. I want you to improve your education, because that's what's going to make you a better golf swinger. So let's go from there. Once we've turned it to the top, we've created a really good coil against the upper half of the body and the lower half. Now we're just going to skim that stone, come down into impact, and then what we're trying to do from here is not scoop the ball too much. Let's try and keep the club head moving towards our target. If we can keep the club head tracking towards our target, we've got a lot better chance of hitting it down our channel. I see so many players start to come over the top of the ball and drag the club very quickly inside. That either puts a lot of side spin on the ball or it gets it going straight left. So you want to keep that club head driving down towards the target. And the final thing to remember is I want you to hold your finish. So once we've come through the ball, hold your finish. Start getting balanced. Next time you're at the driving range, just take a couple of minutes to look down the driving range and you'll see people doing this and they'll have no balance. Yet you'll be able to pick out someone who's got a little bit of talent, because they'll probably stand there and go, whew. Now I want you to be the person that other people try to copy at the driving range, and that means holding your finish. So when we come through to hit a shot, we stay in that balanced position there. You can see my back is nice and straight. I'm not curved over too much. I'm nice and balanced. If you keep working on this balance, when you go and play on the golf course, you'll find yourself being much better balanced all the time. That's what leads to accuracy. So follow these steps first and foremost. Let me know your comments. If I need to make it a bit more technical for you, I can. But this is basically the way that I want you to go ahead and start to learn to swing the golf club.